Keith's turn.
Okay, Keith, let's get started at the beginning then. How'd you get into voice acting?
How did I get into voice acting? I was very confused as a youth. I had no idea. I thought I was going to do everything. So I got like mildly good at a lot of things. But at one point, my uncle actually called me up and he was doing like a PBS special style documentary thing. And he wanted some of his poetry read in different voices. So he had me audition for it. I got a couple of parts for it and went into a studio, recorded with another actress, and I kind of just fell in love with it. Once I actually did it, and I guess I knew voiceover was a thing, but I had never pursued it. But after that, I was like, I got in classes, and I just made that my mission because I just kind of fell in love with it. And once I started actually working, I was like, yep, this is what I want to do. So.
And what were some of your first roles?
Oh, I was like a pinwheel salesman in Samurai Champloo. I did lots of background characters in, oh God, I don't even know if I remember a lot of the animes. I worked on an anime called IGPX, which was like a future racing show. But I had a scene I remember I was very excited because I had a scene with Mark Hamill, which is not to say that I was in the room with Mark Hamill. It just meant that my character was talking to his character. And I was very excited about that early on in my career. But it was a lot of, Soldier B and Student, 7 and, that kind of thing to get started.
With studios getting way more advanced with like turning like cartoons to live action and everything.
Yeah.
And now we got Sonic 2 and we know we got Knuckles in there and Tails in there.
Yeah.
And he talks about showing up as Vector showing up.
Listen, if Vector is showing up, I'm not able to tell you right now. Really, could you imagine that? If I'm like, yeah, he is. I hope in the future, but you know what? It's an interesting time right now because you never know. In fact, more often than not, they're apt to hire an on-camera actor to voice these characters. More often. Now, I know Colleen has already announced that she's getting to do Tails in Sonic 2, and I'm so happy for her. But that kind of is not the norm. You know what I mean? You kind of expect, I expect if they put Vector in 3 or 4 or something like that it's going to be like The Rock who's voicing him or something. You know what I mean? Like they're not going to come and get me. If they do, I would love to do it. Of course, that would be like a dream come true. But, I don't know. I don't know where that balance is between we need celebrity and like who cares that it's actually Keith Silverstein. That's usually not their intention. They're not trying to keep it true to the cartoon. They're like, we're doing something different, and just enough of the game is there.
And then you have stuff like, in Detective Pikachu, they have Aiku as the, non-audible voice or whatever you want to call it for there. So, it may just depend.
Yeah, I think that's where it is. And they're always going to need to have big names in those things. I mean, that's the way these movies work. They have to have a big name to get people to, to back the film in the first place and studios to be interested and to get space at Walmart on the shelves. I mean, they actually have these unwritten rules, Like if you want to display at Walmart, you've got to have a celebrity name in this show. Like all those things actually exist. So we don't count as celebrity names. No love lost. It's okay. I understand where I fit in the scheme of things, and I'm very happy with what I do. So.
Speaking of the Pokemon franchise, you apparently worked on Pokémon Masters in the app as Norman, one of the gym leaders from the Ruby and Sapphire games. How did that come about?
Oh, I don't know if I even remember. I mean, I think that came about the way it usually does, which is such a boring thing. You get an email with an audition, and you read for a character, and then you find out like 3 days later, like, hey, yeah, they want you on this. Can we set up a date? And you go in and you record it. I mean, I wish there was. I mean, that's got to be like 98% of everything I've ever booked is either you walk in and you audition, or nowadays you get an email. That's just kind of the way that has moved. But I've done a lot of stuff in the Pokemon universe, so that's been really, really kind of cool. It's been nice to work with Pokemon, which is obviously a hugely popular franchise. So.
What are some of the other ones in that franchise?
I played a couple of the creatures. I got to do Onyx, and I got to do Reinhorn in one of the series. I recently played Detective Decker. It just came out in one of the series. Whichever one just came out on Netflix. And Professor Oak in the other series. So I've had a number. And then I was in the shorts. You remember they did these shorts that came out that were like 6 minutes long on the internet. Whichever version those were. And I had a couple of different roles. One was, I don't remember his name, but it was like this not age old, but this like legendary retired Pokemon Master. Yeah, basically, who showed up. And so I've had a number of different roles I've played for Pokemon. And that's always fun. Those are great people to work with. So
Getting into that franchise, was that something that you was a fan of before or afterwards you started diving into it?
I knew what it was because it had dominated the TV, and I still to this date have not outgrown cartoons. I mean, there's certain ones are just classic, things like Looney Tunes and stuff like you're always going to love, and I love a lot of the classic stuff that just I liked as a kid. But there's always something on. My kids are watch like Teen Titans Go all day, and I can't help but pay attention. Like Teen Titans Go seems like to me like the most fun show you could ever work on. So I pay attention to all that stuff, and it's important to see what's popular and the style of acting that's being used in the different shows so that you can compete also. And luckily, that's not a chore, so I enjoy it. So I was very aware of what Pokemon was. I don't know that I was ever a big Pokemon fan, like collecting and the whole thing and the cards. And the cards came out. I'm a big Magic the Gathering player, so I was like, I don't need to get into a whole. I don't need to do that too because I have no money because I have to get my Black Lotus. You know what I mean? So it was like, So I didn't get the Charizard, but I do have a really nice unlimited Black Lotus. So.
So fun question.
Yeah.
Obviously, you did a lot with Pokemon. If you could pick a starter Pokemon, what would you pick?
Oh, like which Pokemon would be the starter one? I don't know who's actually good. Like a starting one would not be someone like Charizard who is great, right? I mean, because that would be great to start with. So I don't know if I had a favorite. Maybe like Onyx or somebody. Or what's the one that puts everybody to sleep?
Jigglypuff?
Jigglypuff. Is that starter?
Yeah, it could be starter.
Okay, then Jigglypuff. I would like Jigglypuff then. That would be cool.
Most likely to start as Wigglytuff first.
No, it would
No, Jigglypuff, well, it gets complicated because then Gen 2 they make
Oh my God,
Jigglypuff
I
is
love
the
how
pre-evolution.
I love this. This is great. No, hold on a second, guys. This gets complicated. You can't straight up start with Jigglypuff. You got to start with Wigglytuff, and then from Wigglytuff you have to go to Gigglypuff, and then if you get Gigglypuff, then you have to get Hufflepuff. No, it's not Hufflepuff. Hufflepuff's from Harry Potter. Oh, that's right. Sorry, it's not Hufflepuff. Forget I even said that. What is it then? It's Jigglypuff. Okay, got it. It's amazing. It's Pokemon.
Going back, you had mentioned you have kids. Have they seen some of your work, and what's kind of their reaction?
Oh, it's hilarious because they don't have a realistic view of how much, like how many shows I'm in the sense that they think I'm in everything. Because anytime there was a show they were growing up that was age appropriate, I would present it to them once it was out. Now, I'm not going to force them to watch it. If they didn't like it, it's done. They watch one episode and they're like, yeah, whatever. But more often than not, they were into it. So they've seen everything that's age appropriate for them, they've probably seen. Mm-hmm. And that doesn't mean they watch it over and over. Some they do. Like they love Miraculous. They really liked Glitter Force. There's a few. And then my 10-year-old now is into anime, like legit into anime now. So she's watching stuff, and we're watching Hunter x Hunter together now, and she's digging it. It's not ready for my 6-year-old yet, but and just when I appear in the shows that they like to, like I did a character on Disney's Amphibia, and that was my daughter's favorite show, and I don't tell her. That way, she just is watching anyway, and then she goes, oh, "Dad, is that you?" Because they know me. I've been reading them bedtime stories forever. So it's very hard to fool them on my voice. I can fool my wife sometimes, but the girls, they know. They're like, "That's Dad." Sometimes they're wrong. Sometimes they go, "That's Dad." And I'm like, "Nah, that's Rob Paulson. That's not me." I don't even sound like that. I don't sound like that at all.
So, sorry, no, go ahead.
No, go do it.
I was just going to say, I know obviously you've done a lot of video game voice acting as well. Is it different from animation for TVs or movies?
Yeah, no, it's very different. But each project is also separately different.
Sure.
So there's generalizations for each of the styles of recording. So if you're doing original animation, the generalization is usually that you record with a number of other actors together. You're all on different mics in the same room. You see each other. You react off each other. You get that give and take thing. You see in their eyes what they're doing, and they're going to say something else. I'll give them a second, and then jump in and you have that, and you feed off of their energy, which is fantastic. Probably the most ideal way to record. But for a lot of anime and video games, you are generally on your own. So you're in your booth by yourself. You've got, obviously a director and an engineer, and you maybe have some of the producers or the writers there with you. The plus about that, you don't have other people's energy to work off of. Sometimes they've already recorded some characters, so you do get to hear some of it in English, and you have the visual of you're already watching because the anime's done. So you see what your character's expression is, how they're moving, are they yelling, what's happening. You have all of that stuff, but you also can get in your energy, your own private zone where you think you need to be for this character, for this scene, and there's nobody else's energy to disrupt that. So each one has its benefit. You know what I mean? Like it's good to feed off of other people's energy, but also sometimes to get in your own zone
Sure.
is also like a really good thing. Like nobody's there to mess up your energy, so you can just kind of do that. And games are mostly, you're recording by yourself.
Okay.
But games are different because are you monologuing in a game? Do you have that kind of game?
Right.
Or a lot of the games are like just little one-liners now. Like fighting games and stuff. Like you don't ever get a big, meaty, juicy. Maybe there's one cutscene. You know what I mean? In like a fighting game, 1 or 2 cutscenes. Like Zasalamel gets a couple of cutscenes, but other than that, it's just now you know the difference between you and I.
Yeah.
And then that's that line. You say it 2-3 times a couple different ways. And you go to the next line. Same with Overwatch. You get like really cool, fun little bits that happen every once in a while, or you get an animated short. But a lot of it is just like straight up, hail them up, pray come down. And you do that 3 times, you move on to the next line, you know what I mean? So.
And what have you done so far at Anime Milwaukee, and what's kind of next this weekend? We're recording this on Saturday evening, so.
We are. You're telling them, not me, right? I'm like, I'm a little out of it sometimes when I'm traveling, but I know what day it is. I know it's evening. So far it's been pretty straightforward. I had a couple of panels. I just finished up a panel called The Art of Being Evil, where I talk about a number of different villains that I've played and kind of what the different motivations are for them. But other than that, I have mostly been just doing signings. I did a Genshin Impact a panel with Griffin earlier and or yesterday, and then tomorrow's like just straight up autographs. Will just be available for autographs until it's time to get on a plane or get in a car to then get on a plane to then get in a car to then go home.
Okay, so with blurred culture and the most, with this culture growing ever so much and everything like that. You worked with LaShawn Thomas on Cannon Buster, which was like
yeah.
Had to have a black anime, director for a show.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to know, tell me about that experience being a part of something that's so historical to black culture, black anime culture, and blurred culture.
That was, one of the few animes that I've worked on. I mean, I think the only other one that was kind of like a black anime, and it was literally that and Afro Samurai. And other than that, I don't know what else has existed, but those I worked on both of those. Afro Samurai I just did like Walla work on and a couple of little incidental roles and stuff. And I had I don't remember being in it a lot for Cannon Busters, but I did get to do some work on it, and that was an honor for sure to be a part of. I just want that to be more the norm. And I will say also, a lot of, up and coming is not even the right way to say it. There are a lot of other black voice actors now that are here, doing their thing. And I really like seeing that. It's, I don't even know if I realized, how few black actors for voiceover there were, and definitely black characters. And, it's been great to see that come up more and more and more. Where people are being cast regardless of, if they have a certain urban sound to them. Because some, as an actor, some people can change their voices and be more, sound more street, more urban, more black, more not, or old or young or whatever. And other people don't. And it's always this assumed thing, like when we're playing characters that are generally not white anyway, you know what I mean? And like they need to sound white, you know what I mean? It's been nice to see like people letting that go. And that's and being like, I know, if you just listen to the voice, you would imagine like a black guy. Yeah. And that's okay. And you know what? It's totally okay. Once they started doing it, people are like, yeah, it's cool. And it's not just in anime too. I went to Disneyland and I saw the thing of Frozen, right? Mm-hmm. And I don't remember which one of the sisters. One of the sisters was portrayed by a black actress. I think it was as an adult, but not as a child. Mm-hmm. And it's like, you noticed it in the audience? And do you know how long that bothered you or took you out of it? Like half a second. And that was a change. I'm just saying, like, you're taking a character that people don't know is a black character to start. Mm-hmm. They're supposed to be sisters, and then they change as an adult. You know what I mean? And it was still like, hey, that was it. And I went, oh my, do you know how much more we could be doing this? Nobody cares. I mean, when I say nobody cares, you know what I mean. Somebody cares. We always know there's some people that care. But I'm saying it totally works. It totally works. So I've been very happy to see more and more of this, as well as more black characters being created in the shows as well. And that goes for, by the way, for every ethnicity. Like I'm not partial to anyone. I think everybody should be represented. And when I see more representation, everything, you know, whether it's for women or whether it's for, you know, gay characters or whether it's for, you know, any ethnicity, whether Asian or what have, like, I love that. That's just the way it should be. It just should. So